Hello everyone and welcome to another episode here on the Socialblade server. I am Brian and I am the mayor of the town of Borderland. What you see before you right now is my automatic melon farm, and the automatic pumpkin farm is directly behind it. We're going to be feeding the town with melons, and pumpkins are obviously going to be free to the town members as well. Now the other day I did a complete episode where we built this together. We got all the resources together, we built it, we worked through some of the problems I was having with it on camera, and I thought I did a really good job of explaining what I was trying to do. Now, when you're really tired, you've got yourself a set of twins, they're sleeping kind of tentatively, you think the things you do are really good until you hear them back, and you know what, it just wasn't good. I did a terrible job of explaining how this thing worked. So instead, what we're going to do now is we are going to go over to a creative world, and I am going to rebuild these, at least one layer of them anyway, so you can see exactly how it works. It is a tutorial, but it's going to also be, it's for the Socialblade server, so I'm going to actually call this a Socialblade episode. So I'm going to head over right now to a creative world, and I will talk to you all in a minute. Okay, everybody, we're back, and what I've done here is I've set up one side of the melon/pumpkin farm so you can see exactly what you couldn't see on the server. On the server, this was all covered over with stone and brick, and I've left the other side here kind of blank, and what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild that together. Bam, don't need you. We're going to rebuild this side together so you can see how I built it. Now, the concept behind this is a bud switch, a block update detector. And what that means is if a update occurs, if the block next to this system changes, so the entire thing will go off. So let me show you. If I put a block here, the entire thing goes off. All right. And I guess the first thing I should do is describe what a bud switch is, in its simplest form. In its simplest form, it is a piston, either kind of piston, that is powered along its edge. So let's say I have boom. Let's say I have that, and I'm going to use as power. I'm going to use a lever. I'm going to toss a lever there. If I turn this on, nothing happens. But currently, power is being supplied to this piston through this location. If something happens to a block next to this piston, let's say something grows or water flows by or something like that, the entire thing will kick off. Okay? So if I remove it, it won't go back. It'll stay. If I remove the power, it'll stay until I update this block or any of the blocks around it again. Then it'll go back. So that's a bud switch. And people use bud switches for detecting growth, detecting, anything like that. It's usually used for things like detecting growth of vegetation, plants, that kind of thing. So I've used it here, and I'm showing you this bud switch. It's obviously more complicated than the one I just showed you over there. This is a self-resetting bud switch, which means when I remove power, it cuts off the power that was supplied, and the block that was pushed away then in turn causes an update again. And I'm showing you this one here because this is a bud of my own design. I've designed a few of them, but this is one of my own designs right here. There are much better bud switches on the internet. I encourage you to look them up and use whichever one you are comfortable using in your own worlds. I really like to build things myself. I really like to do things on my own, and so that's why I have my own bud. Like I said, it's not the most compact. There are much smarter people out there than I am, and they will show you exactly how to make the most compact, sexy bud switches you've ever seen. But anyway, back to our melon/pumpkin farms. So this is how it's going to work. We have our melons here, and whenever a melon grows in these locations, these switches are going to go off because a melon will be produced here. Let's do a half melon. I can make one out of those because I've already got a million of them. Whenever a melon is produced here, the whole system kicks off. It kicks the melon out into this hole, which will have water flowing through it, and then it'll all collect in this location down here. Now, I've built this exactly like I did on the server, just so you can see how I did it. You can see that it is currently 4 blocks high, is where the melons are growing, and that required me to have my chest 1 block below the ground. And I did it like this just so you could see exactly how it looked in the server. If you don't want to have to do that, if you don't want your to dig down, which I didn't want to, I just miscalculated. If you don't want to have to dig down like this, then build this entire system 1 higher. Okay? So all this is a solid block base with dirt on each side and holes that go down and create water troughs. So in order to make the other side, I'm going to build it right now. I'm going to toss, that should go there. On each of these stones that I've got here, I'm going to add a piston. So a sticky piston is going to go here, and it's going to be facing towards me, like that. It is going to have a blue block on it, like I always use to show where power is coming from. And then on either side here, we're going to put non-sticky pistons, and these are going to be used to push your product off into the water streams. Bam, like that. Okay, on the other side here, we're going to actually build the bud switch now. We're going to be receiving power. Oh, sorry, my phone. I'm just going to turn it off. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to be receiving power from here, so I'm going to extend like this, and I'm going to add a torch right here. So when this thing extends, it's going to extend over top of the torch, and that torch in turn is going to power the entire system. Now let me build the rest of the switch so you can see, and I'll remove blocks as I go if I don't need them. So bang, bang, and I'm going to build it just basically a C shape like this. Bang, 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 remove, bang, bang, remove. Basically a shape like that, and we're going to add to this system not a repeater, but facing this way, like that. And we're going to add a torch under here to add power. And 2 bits of redstone here and here. So that is where our redstone's located. It is powering this block. And when this thing extends, well, I can actually show you. When it extends, it's going to power, it's going to extend this, it's going to power this repeater, going to power this redstone, turn this torch off, take the power away from here, and the whole thing will reset. So that is actually all done. Hopefully you guys saw that. Bam, and it works. Now the only thing we have left to do, and I'm sorry I keep clicking my teeth like that, my mouth is very dry. Only thing we have left to do now is create our water channels. And I always create them out of glass, and you know what, it's probably not necessary just because light is ultimately being added to the system by these torches. But like this, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, and that is our one hole right there. And we want to make sure we fill in any gaps. So you see there's a gap down here. Make sure we fill it in because we don't want any of these things to be wasted. This thing is not 100% efficient. We're going to lose some. That's okay. We don't care. It's automatic. We don't actually have to do anything else with the system besides collect them anyway. So we're just going to do it like that. On this side, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to add bang, and our water source is going to be down there. Fill it in, fill it in, fill it in. We're going to not leave that one out. Like that, like that, like that, like that. You can see this thing kicking off every time I do anything. And like that. So now we've got 2 water channels that go down there with allowing the access to the system right down there, and same thing on this side. So all we have to do now is add our water. Let me get it out. A water bucket. There we go. There and there. So now what we've got is we've got water flowing into our channels. You can see how it came in. And I've got it being held off by that sign. So if I could actually get this thing to kick off. Let's see, can I? Let me grab a watermelon out of here. Let me do a search for melon. There we go. Okay, escape. Okay, so now, whenever we have a melon grow, let me just toss one in. If I have a melon grow right there, you can see, we have some loss. Well, there was there. It didn't come out. Now it came back in, and we've got the system flowing, and there's our melons flowing along there like that, all the way along where they're going to collect here. The last thing you're going to want to do then is add, do I have one here? We'll just use a regular chest. We're going to add chests like this. That's going to collect our melons, and we're going to add on top of that our hopper. And in order to attach a hopper to a chest, you have to sneak towards it. So sneak up on the chest and add the hopper like that. Now you can see both water streams are flowing into that location. Those things obviously we're not going to go in because they are not in the chest yet. But now if we add our watermelons back to the system here, bang, oops, like that, bang, or on this side, bang. See, we're getting some waste. We don't really care. We got some waste kicking out. What we do care about is most of the stuff is going down below. So we got some waste here. Got some waste being kicked out here. You can surround everything as much as you want with, you know, additional stone to make sure you don't lose it. But same thing on this side. Where is that flying out of? That flew out of the glass. And I think actually if you use a non-transparent block, it's probably better. That's probably why I'm getting as much waste as I am, just because glass is not an opaque block. But you can see a lot of it is going down. It's going along the water streams. And if you want to make this even faster, you can of course replace the stone down there with ice, and it'll go even faster. And if we take a look in here, we're actually collecting our watermelons. Same thing can be done with pumpkins. So I hope you guys give this a try in your world. A second layer can be added on if you want, actually as many layers as you want. What you're going to do is you're going to repeat this exact same system. You're going to add a piece of white wool on top of this one, and you're going to add your torch on top of this one, and that is that torch. And you build your entire system up from there. So guys, I hope that was clear. The first time I did it, it wasn't very clear. It's not a complicated system, but it looks really complicated, and it can be a little bit confusing. So I hope that was clear. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and if you did, please let me know with that like button. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if there's something else you'd like to see, a challenge you'd like me to complete, and if you haven't already done so, just subscribe. You're going to get all these awesome videos and have a super awesome world. Alright everybody, thank you very much. Have a great day.